His MVP. Golf swung, right field. Forget about it. Rangers strike first. Goes after the first one. Drills a high fly ball. Left center field. This game is tied. From Javier. Seager hits a high fly ball. Deep right field. A bomb into first. One swing. High drive. It's tied. Seager smashes the ball down the line. Goodbye. Now Seager to right center field. Way back there. Gone again. Corey Seager does it again. It's Texas Rangers win the World Series. The Willie Mays Most Valuable Player Trophy presented by Chevrolet. Is there any doubt? Corey Seager.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you in the eighth inning, the bottom of the seventh inning, of a 4-1 ball game. We got Rangers, we got Rays, and we've got a pitching change right now. By the way, Jacob Blatt's taken out of the game, and we will have, let's see, who's it coming on? Sorry, lag, my bad. Let's get the play-by-play on here. Oh, little Major League debut. Here we go.
And when we were younger, Wichita State felt like always in the College World Series.
What's good, everybody? We got bottom of the seventh inning right now. Rangers down 4-1. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yandy Diaz up to bat right now. 0-2 count right now, bottom of the seventh, 2 outs. Rangers trying to get out of this one. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
UTSA won the region in Austin to make it to the Super Regionals.
And here comes the pitch.
There's a ground ball shortstop.
Hey, there you go. Got out of it.
It's a 4-1 Rays lead.
Good stuff. There we go. 4-1. It's been a game so far. Of course, like always, this game started out real close. 1-0 ball game. And seemingly within reach, and then that inning happened. That sixth inning happened, I should say. My goodness. I mean, look, I know that sometimes there are certain fans that get upset when people are too hard on the Rangers, calling players and performances embarrassing. Again, I've said this before. I really don't know how you watch that sixth inning and the word embarrassing doesn't just immediately come to mind. That sixth inning was incredibly embarrassing, man. I mean, there's no other way to describe that inning. Ugly. So ugly, man. John, I'm with you. I mean, I really don't know what the call was. Apparently, they had some, I think it was a combination of like StatCast and something else, the technology, and they did confirm it went out. The camera angles they showed us on the replay, clearly not conclusive. Who knows if that doesn't get called a home run, how this game ends up changing. But look, I think we can all agree that sixth inning was horrible. And I really don't know, again, how embarrassing doesn't just come immediately to your mind. I know some of y'all don't like to be very hard on the team. I get it. Some of y'all want to stay positive. I respect it. I don't know how you look at some of the different sequencing in that sixth inning and just say that was completely embarrassing. I mean, that is little league rec ball type stuff, man. It just is. I mean, there were a couple of plays that were tough ones. The Burger play, I don't know if Burger was probably going to get the guy at the plate anyways. It would have been a bang play. Higgy up to bat right now, by the way. Higgy had a base knock earlier on in the game. He is 1 for 2 on the day. Haggerty, big strikeout, man. Big strikeout to end the last inning. Kind of a awkward check swing. And look, he has subbed in for Evan Carter and has struck out twice. And I'm going to get into this a couple of different times today, but all y'all know how I feel about Evan Carter being platooned with a lot of frequency. I mean, Evan Carter's got 45 career plate appearances against the lefty. I really don't know. And I wish they would have asked CY yesterday on 105.3 The Fan, what's the plan with Carter? Are we just going to just like robotically platoon him his entire career? What needs to be seen from him to actually give him a shot? Because Evan Carter could have struck out twice like Sam Haggerty did. Evan Carter could have struck out twice. He was pinch hit for. When they brought in the lefty, he had one at bat. And literally, dude could have struck out twice and done exactly what Sam Haggerty's doing. My thing is, if there's a much better option on the bench, I get it. Sam Haggerty is not that much of an upgrade compared to Evan Carter. And I know we all like Haggerty. I like Haggerty too. But the upgrade, or whatever you want to call it, I don't even call it an upgrade. The lateral movement from Evan Carter to Sam Haggerty to get a right-hander up in that spot just feels like a huge reach to me. And I don't know why we're chasing matchups instead of trying to develop Evan Carter and some of these lefties, honestly. Now, look, Adolis Garcia, he comes up, good for him, gets a base knock. I think this is actually a perfect role for Adolis Garcia. Connor, if you're still hanging out, I saw that comment. I think this is a perfect role for him. Osuna gets the starts, and Dolly comes in against lefties, and of course gets the start against lefties. I do think 100%, you bring Dolly in to start against lefties at this point if you're hell-bent on platooning Osuna and Carter. Just out of like default, I've always been coaching and doing it this way. I've got to have a righty in if there's a lefty. It makes zero sense to me. Again, I would have loved for them to have pressed CY on 105.3 The Fan yesterday. Would have loved for them to have pressed him. What's the plan for Evan Carter? What's the plan for Osuna? Osuna is already getting platooned. He hadn't even gotten an opportunity to hit against the lefty in the big leagues. I just don't get it. Makes no sense to me. Another thing that's not making a lot of sense to me is Wyatt Langford slump. And Wyatt Langford is hitting under 180 in his last 30 games. I just don't know where it's gone wrong, but I hope this is an at-bat where he can break loose. Not going to be hard shot, but right at third base. And Wyatt is going to go 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts on the night. Not a good run of games for Wyatt Langford right now. And I think that a lot of y'all have heard me go back and forth, lineup changes, keeping things the same. I do think when you think about Wyatt Langford in the last 30 games, hitting under 180, I think it's probably under 175 at this point. I think that's a big enough sample size to say maybe we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Wyatt Langford hitting in the 2 spot. I do think Wyatt needs a break. At minimum, I think they need to move him down in the order a little bit. It doesn't mean you can't move him back. That's my thing, and I've always said that to y'all. You can easily move guys up and down in the lineup. For me, I don't think it should be that big of a deal to where you're getting dramatically different results depending on where you're hitting in the lineup, unless you're hitting in front of Corey Seager, which he is, and it's still not really helping him. That's kind of what boggles my mind, is with Wyatt Langford hitting in front of Corey Seager. You should be getting a ton of pitches to hit, and I really do feel like he is. Wyatt Langford is getting pitches to hit. It's just not happening for him right now. And so I think at this point, moving Wyatt somewhere else, I don't think it's going to get a lot more difficult. I mean, I think he's in a really great spot in terms of seeing pitches to hit. I feel like, though, under 175 in your last 30, it might be time to move him down a little bit in the order or give him a couple days. Braden, what's good, man? My thoughts on trading Adolis, I'm for it. I think that they need to get rid of some outfielders. They obviously DFA'd and released Kevin Pillar. And I think that when you look at the three outfielders they have right now, Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter, Alejandro Osuna, that feels like the future. And those feel like the three guys you want to move forward with. I think Adolis is in a good spot right now in terms of you're being a platoon player. You're coming in against lefties, probably going to start against lefties. I think he's in a great spot. Now, clearly, it's one at bat, one hit, small sample size, but I actually think this is the role that he needs to be in. I talked about it on my video that I put out, I believe it was yesterday or a couple of days ago. You either need to trade him or you need to platoon him or you need to send him down to the minors and allow him to mash in the minors and maybe get his trade value up that way. I do think there is an argument, though. You feature him in this new role, this platoon role, and maybe he's able to get his stock up against lefties, and perhaps the value goes up a little bit higher and higher. If he's really going well, you can always trade him in the offseason. Let's say the Rangers finally figure it out, and you know what? Adolis is kind of locked into this platoon role against lefties. Look, you could easily keep him the whole year and trade him in the offseason. I do think you've got to trade him at some point. You're not going to re-sign him. You're not giving him a 4 or 5 year deal. He's going to be 34 years old when his rookie contract is up for Texas. He's got to be traded at some point. Got to be. You love Berger, but we need to draft the future first baseman. For me, I'm good with Berger right now. I really am. I just put out a video about Berg today. Look, I think that the bat speaks for itself. It's coming alive since he came up from Round Rock. He's got a couple of hits tonight, 2 for 3, only Ranger with multi-hit, and he's responsible for half the Rangers' hits. Like, I do think Berg is fine. The defense has been outstanding. I really don't think, oh, that sucks. Man. Cody just gave up a bomb, man. That sucks. Your major league debut, you give up a tank. Caminero, 14 bombs on the year. That was a little bit above the zone, and Caminero just went up and got that thing, man. That just sucks in your MLB debut. Solo shot. It's 5-1 Rays at this point. Feel bad for Cody. Keep going. What about Jonah Heim? What about him? Trade him? I think that Jonah is going to be one that probably sticks around. I don't see Jonah Heim leaving. He controls the pitching staff too well. I know Higgy is playing tonight. Jonah got the day off, but I think that Jonah does too good of a job with the pitching staff. I'd be surprised if they traded him. He's a guy I think you can put on the block. I mean, he's got less than 2 years of club control. Not necessarily a guy that you don't take any calls on, but it would have to be a pretty good deal. You'd have to really love what you're getting if you're giving up Jonah Heim, the guy who's really managing the pitching staff at this point. I'm not a big-time Higgy fan in terms of being the number one guy. I'm a Higgy fan in terms of the role he's in right now, but I don't think that Higgy is a guy that you want shouldering 140-plus games. I mean, yeah, Matthew, I'm almost kind of with you, my guy. Like Carson Kelly, I don't know how much better we upgraded from Kelly to Higgy. I really don't. Higgy feels like a little bit more of an impact bat because he's had some bigger moments. Like he had the big home run against the Dodgers in the divisional round last year. But I really feel like you probably line them up side by side and there's not a huge difference. Keep going. Appreciate. Ultra-modern Rangers ruin everything they touch. Imagine being the idiot that gets excited when they have one good game. That's not shade at me, is it, ultra-modern? I mean, look, I've always said I need to see consistency. And it's fun watching the Rangers go up 8-1 on the Cardinals. It's fun watching them score double digits, but I'm with you, ultra-modern. Until I see a string of games, what's a string of games? 5 or 6 in a row where the offense is by and large consistently producing. I got to say, I don't feel amazing about the prospects long-term until I see something like that. In other words, one really good game from the offense doesn't make me think we could win the World Series. I want to see several good games from the offense in a row. Langford was killing it when the rest of the team was struggling. They brought him down to their level. Look, maybe that's right. I'm actually kind of going back to, do y'all remember Wyatt Langford? He was hot as all get out. And then Bochy like benched him for no reason. Do you guys remember this? I'm trying to remember what the game was, but Wyatt was like on fire, right? He was mashing, raking. And then all of a sudden, Bochy decides, off day. Let's give the kid a day off. He's like gone like 5 for his last 9. Let's give him the day off. And then it feels like he just hasn't been the same since. One of y'all brought that up to me in one of the lives. It was like a week after he had gotten the day off, he was struggling. And one of y'all was like, hey, the off day killed him. And I totally agree. I think the off day did. I'm dead serious. Dead serious, man. Caden, what's good? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you, bud. By the way, we got a couple of different things going on here. Bottom of the 8th inning. Cody just struck out Meisner there. Meisner had the home run that put the Rays up 1-0. The phantom home run, if you will. Was that it, Kenny? Was it the series in Sacramento? It was whatever series where they gave him a stupid day off out of nowhere. Like he was going great, and then they decided to bench him to give him a day. I don't know. It does sound like that was about it. It was probably about a month ago. And that Sacramento series, it was a little over a month ago. So I think you might be right there, Kenny. Seriously, bro. As much as I was against it at the beginning of the series, it's time for a rebuild. I don't know what you mean by rebuild. It's not time for a fire sale by any means. I definitely feel like the Rangers are going to have to consider selling off some pieces 100%. It's not time for a fire sale. It's time, I would call kind of a soft reset, if you will. I think the Rangers could easily move forward with a soft reset if it doesn't go their way. And what I mean by that is you keep DeGrom, you keep Evo, you keep all the young guys, but you look to sell off a lot of the guys. And I mean a lot of the guys that have less than 2 years of club control left. And the reason is if you can sell a guy that has more than 1 year of club control, you get more back in return. So if you sell Adolis right now with 1.5 years left of club control, in theory, you should get more value than if you sell him next year at the deadline when he's basically a half-season rental. And it's the same thing with other guys. Like we were talking about Jonah Heim. It would be the same thing with Jonah Heim. You basically are getting 1.5 years of Heim instead of a half a season. That would be what I would try and shoot for. You know, clearly you've got guys like Malley and Corbin that will be half-season rentals that you definitely are going to trade if you're doing a soft reset. But you don't need to break it all up. You don't need to get crazy and trade DeGrom and trade Evo and trade Corey Seager. Some people were, I think, and I shouldn't say some, a very small number of people were suggesting drastic moves like that. There's no reason to go drastic. I mean, look, the Rangers, it might not work out for them this year. You don't need to totally light it all on fire and start over. You do need to get rid of about 3 guys in the starting lineup that have been kind of black holes. Right now, you look at our roster, the catching spot is a little bit of a black hole. I don't know how you fix that unless you've got Malcolm Moore on a crazy fast track, and I don't think he's going to be around till 2027. Of course, Malcolm Moore, the number 3 prospect in the Rangers system. By the way, Fairbanks on 5-1 ball game. Josh Young up right now. Corey Seager struck out. And so now it's up to Young. And if anybody gets on, Adolis Garcia. 0-0 count. And Young will take inside. Diaz is at a rough night behind the plate. I think I may have seen the worst called strike. The worst called strike that I've ever seen. It's close. That Joe Nathan one. My boy Nate, if you're watching right now, you brought this up, so I'm not going to take credit for this. The Joe Nathan, where literally Pierzynski catches it on the ground and it gets called for strike 3. I think that's going to be the all-time greatest bad called strike. Seriously. But the one that I saw today, we actually benefited off of it. Young's going deep here. Warning track power, though. Lau has got it, and there's 2 down. Look, the one that I saw earlier today was Malley versus, I forget who was hitting for the Rays. It was literally probably 2 feet off of the outside corner of the plate. I mean, Diaz has had himself a day. I do not understand why we cannot get an umpire in really what feels like a 2-week stretch that does not have egregiously bad calls throughout the game. It does not feel like we've even been blessed with one umpire over the last 2 weeks that's had maybe a 97, a 98 percentage for accuracy. It's ridiculous. It really is. Ezekiel Duran still does play for the Rangers. Not very much, though. Adolis is going to take 97 inside. 2-0 count. Adolis is getting action for the first time in 3 games. He got the entire Cardinals series off. Adolis singled against a lefty in his first at-bat of the night, pinch hitting for Alejandro Osuna. Osuna, by the way, finally ends his streak getting on base to start his career. I think he was at 7 or 8 games, did not reach base tonight. Garcia, healthy hack, man. That he just missed that one. That was going to be probably a gapper, a majestic shot, just missed it. And this has been the story for the Rangers, right? They've missed a lot of pitches down the middle. They miss a lot of mistake pitches. It's the reason why they struggle offensively. It really is. McJowers, I'm kind of with you on Higgy. I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but look, I don't know if I would call it a win. That's for sure. Maybe I'm not going to call it an L pickup at this point, but I don't know if I'd call it a win. Dolly's hanging tough here. You got to love good at bats from Adolis Garcia tonight. Look, I think he's in a perfect role. You bring him in when you've got a lefty late in the game, pinch hit, or you have him play, you have him start when there is a lefty starter. The Rays aren't throwing a lefty starter, though. Adolis is going to ground this one. Great play by the first baseman. Pretty hard shot by Adolis, but that's going to be ball game. Rangers lose this one 5-1. Tyler Malley is going to take the loss in this one, unfortunately. Doesn't feel like he really deserved to lose this game. He did get into a jam in the 6th inning, loading the bases. That was not ideal. Bases loaded, 1 out. Latz comes in, gives up a wild pitch on the very first throw. Literally the very first throw, man. And then it was kind of all downhill from there. So, look, we're going to get Malley with an L, but really doesn't feel like he deserved to lose. Really sucks. This game was theirs for the taking. Rangers, once again, it's like 8 runs one game and 0 runs the next. I mean, I know they get one with the Jake Berger RBI single, but it's just Jekyll and Hyde with this club. And that is the issue. It's Jekyll and Hyde. You can't get consistency. And that is why the Rangers are at 29-32 right now. Tyler Malley drops to 5-3 on the year, 2.02 ERA. Rasmussen, I believe, extends his scoreless streak, the Rays starting pitcher, to 23 straight games. 23 straight games. Innings, not games. That'd be crazy. Games, that would be a major league record for sure. 23 straight innings without allowing a run. Pretty impressive from Rasmussen. He was good tonight. They got him out of the game early, but it was not a factor at all. The bullpen came in for Tampa Bay, gave up a run on that Berger single, but beyond that was pretty nails, pretty shut down. And so Rays take game 1. We're on to game 2 tomorrow. Jack Leiter will be on the bump. We're going to go through the highlights of this game. We're going to go through as many positive things as we can, man. But tonight, kind of a suck game. Rangers not able to really get anything going with the bat. A few guys had hits, Adolis, Berger, and Higgy. That's it. Everybody else, 0. I mean, look, everybody else. Look, I'll give credit to Tyler Malley. I thought he pitched a really solid 5 innings, and I think we got to frame it with this perspective. A game like this is tough. You've got conditions. You've got a weather delay. It's not so much of an excuse for why the Rangers lost, but I think as you look at the performance from Malley, you put it all into consideration. And I think you say to yourself, really pretty solid start. I mean, would have loved to have seen what he's able to do getting out of that jam himself. I know that he was getting up there with the pitch count. When he was pulled, he was at 85 pitches. Personally, I'd rather have Malley with the bases loaded than Jacob Latz. I know Latz has been solid coming in, but I'd much rather have Tyler Malley throw in there. I mean, you're at 85 pitches, bro. Like at that point, you can't be gassed. And I know that Tyler Malley's coming off major injury, but I don't know. Maybe some of y'all would have much rather have seen Jacob Latz in that spot. I don't care if it was a lefty-lefty matchup or whatever it was, but I would have much rather have seen Malley try and get out of that jam. 100%. I don't understand the perspective of Jacob Latz is going to be the better guy there to get you an out. Look, Bruce Bochy, Mike Maddox, clearly they get paid the big bucks for a reason. It didn't work out great. Didn't work out great for the decision-making there. Jacob Latz looked like he maybe lost grip of the ball in that moment, but honestly, I don't know who would have rather seen Jacob Latz there than Tyler Malley. It makes me think maybe Malley, maybe he said that he was fatigued when Maddox went out to have that initial meeting with him. I just don't understand why you would pull Malley there. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Shane, thanks for helping me out. Caden, yeah, definitely Josh Hamilton favorite all time. Corey Seager probably favorite current if I had to nail it down right now. Appreciate the follow. Esteban, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got to say that decision, I think, really changed things. I don't know if Malley gets out of the bases loaded jam, but I think he has a much better shot than Latz. Let me put it to you that way. Seriously, I think Latz has a much better shot there. Yeah, John, thank you. Thank you. It's a head scratcher. I'm not saying you don't bring in Latz at all, but I just don't understand why you're bringing in Latz in that moment. Malley's at 85 pitches. It's not like he's at 105, which I would get. I mean, you're up in the hundreds. I get it a little bit more. But, bottom of the sixth, you had, let's see, Mangum up to bat. And Mangum is a switch hitter. So it really doesn't matter. In that moment, they must have thought turning Mangum around to the right side was going to be better. But he's a switch hitter. Like either way, you're going to have the matchup lefty-righty. Next guy up after that is Meisner. And he was a lefty. If it's me, I'm probably giving Malley at least Mangum. And then after that, maybe you bring in Latz to face Meisner, the lefty. I just don't understand why you don't even give Malley a shot against the switch hitter, though. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And it didn't go well today for Texas with that decision-making. Latz was okay, gave up a couple of hits, had 3 strikeouts. I mean, no earned runs because he allowed basically all of the runs that he inherited to score. But beyond that, not bad. By the way, Kumar Rocker going tomorrow. I thought that it was going to be Leiter tomorrow, but Kumar Rocker tomorrow. I just got that notification. So I'm assuming it's going to be Leiter on Thursday, but Kumar Rocker pitches tomorrow. Just got the notification from one of the Rangers beat writers. So we'll see what happens. But Rocker, I think, looks great in the rehab. Can he carry it over into tomorrow's start against the Rays? We'll see. But looks like it's going to be Rocker and then probably Jack Leiter on Thursday for the series finale. Then the Rangers will head to Washington, D.C. to face the Nats for a 3-game set. This is a long roadie, man. It's a long road trip. Rangers are going, obviously, they're already in Tampa Bay. Then you're going to Washington, D.C. You got an off day Monday, and then you go to Minnesota. They will be glad to be back at home against the White Sox on Friday, June 13th, man. What a roadie. This is a bad one, man. 3 straight series. And look, D.C. is pretty cool. Tampa Bay, nice, but in the summertime, pretty brutal. Minnesota, beautiful area. Beautiful this time of year. So, look, not a terrible road trip, but nevertheless, you're basically on the road for 10 days. Ugh. Hard Chuck, you might be onto something. This road trip goes bad. It might be a seller situation. Shane, I'm with you. The offense is sad. Fire Bochy. They're not going to do that. They're going to let him ride off into the sunset before they fire him. Rock show tomorrow. I'm with you. At least we got the rock show tomorrow. McGonagall is interesting. That would be nice. If you could get McGonagall, that would be a great deal. I don't know how much Mally is really going to command. That's my big question. Like, are you going to have to package Mally with some prospects in order to get somebody actually really pretty good? I mean, I think that you might have to, kind of like what I said on my video the other day. If you're going to trade Dolly and you want to get a closer, I doubt you're going to be able to swap Dolly for a closer. You can maybe do like a Nate Lowe, Robert Garcia type swap with Adolis Garcia and somebody else. I don't think that you're going to be able to swap Adolis for a bona fide closer. You're probably going to have to trade Adolis with prospects in order to get something of value. I kind of feel the same way about Mally. I don't think Mally by himself is going to get you really anything crazy special because he's a half-season rental. Let's say Mally had a year and a half of control. I think that it would be a much better situation to get somebody like McGonagall. But when you only got a half-season rental, just looking at the history of the trade deadline, the last 5 or 6 years, it hasn't been a huge payoff for these half-season rental guys. You're not getting a boatload of prospects. So we'll see. Right off into the sunset, Bochy is going to the tune of 1 run a game. Yep. Seriously, hate it or love it, I think it's what's happening. I don't think that CY is going to be firing Bruce Bochy. I think there's too much respect there. I really would be floored, shocked, insert whatever adjective, you get it, if they decided to fire Bruce. Let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, look, if the road trip goes poorly, I don't know what poorly means, Hard Chuck. You're going to have to define that a little bit more. Let's say in the 9 games, they go 3-6. I don't know. You're still kind of playing a weird numbers game. You're just trying to look at how the other teams in the division have done too. Right now, the Rangers are 4.5 games out. You're 4 games out of a playoff spot. And you've got, let's see, 8 games left on the road trip. I mean, if you lost 8 in a row, I'm probably with you, Hard Chuck. If you win every other game, I think that you're probably still right in the thick of it, honestly. But we'll see how it goes. The Rangers have not been good on the road, though. That is an important thing for us to note. Look, just telling you the facts, telling you like it is. They're not good on the road. 9-19 on the road. They are an elite ball club at home. They're 20-13 in the friendly confines of Globe Life Field. They're 20-13. I mean, you do the math on that. Over a 162 game season, you're looking pretty good. You're looking pretty good. I mean, I'll try and do a quick math equation here if I can. Let's see here. So if you go 20-13, do that over 162 games. Let's see. You're averaging it out to be, let's see. Come on, computer. Don't fail me now. I got this math, y'all. I got this on lock. Trust me. Trust me. 98 wins. That's a 98 win team. I'm just saying, you stretch out 20-13 over 162 games. That is a 98 win team. The Rangers are just a different team at Globe Life compared to on the road. It has not been good on the road. And honestly, what this reminds me of, and I'm just kind of random thought here, like it reminds me of Cody Bradford last year for whatever reason. Cody was like so good at Globe Life and then would go on the road and just take a complete dump. And it feels like that's how it is for the Rangers this year. Like at home, whenever they go home, you have this hope that this could be a playoff team. They go on the road and you just get depressed as all get out. And so I think it might be about that time in the year where you can kind of say, this appears to be a thing. They played 28 games on the road. They played 33 games at home. I think we can kind of start making some conclusions here, drawing some conclusions. It's a troubling split. It's a troubling split. You have to be awful. And what I mean by awful is really good You have to be awfully elite at home in order to make up for a terrible road record. And that's what the Rangers have right now, an absolutely terrible road record. Top 3 of the lineup was terrible today. Gio, what's good, my guy? Thanks for tuning in, brother. I appreciate you. Look, 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. 0 for 12 with 7 strikeouts. Seager almost had the golden sombrero today. Grounded out, I believe, in his last at bat. But Seager almost goes golden sombrero. Langford and Smith each strike out twice. Josh Smith had a big game over the weekend. Wyatt Langford, though, it's concerning. I mean, y'all, look, we're not hating on Wyatt Langford. We're just telling y'all like it is. His last 30 games, he's batting like $175. Like last 30 games. This isn't like he's been cold for a week. And yes, there have been some bombs that have been dropped in between there. He's mashed the ball out of the ballpark here and there, but he has not been good. And Corey Seager, ultra modern, I'm totally with you on that. Corey Seager has not been great either since his return. It's troubling for sure. I do think that Corey Seager pulls it together. I feel a lot better about Corey Seager and his long-term projection. Wyatt Langford, I can't say my worry meter is like crazy levels right now. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably at about a 4 or a 5. I think with Corey Seager, I'm probably at about a 2 or a 3. But right now, Wyatt Langford is not seeing the ball well. It's a lot of takes. The Rangers, by and large, this entire lineup was taking way too many strikes today. I think they had the most strikeouts looking of the season today, like had 7 or 8. I don't know. Maybe one of y'all can check me on that. It was not pretty. It's not pretty. Yeah, look, Jake Berger, Garcia, and you had Higgy. Right? That was it for hits today. Simeon did walk, and that was about it. It was not a great day for the offense. Marco, I don't want to believe it, but these games start worrying me. Hey, Manny, appreciate the follow, brother. Thank you so much. Looking at the schedule with Seager, it does look promising. Look, the schedule is fortuitous. It is. You're going to the Nationals. You can't take any series for granted. That is the beauty of baseball. I say that all the time to y'all. That's the beauty of baseball. You can't take any series for granted. Any team can beat really any other team in the majors. Right? The Rockies can beat the Dodgers on a given night. That is the beauty of baseball. Is it going to happen a lot over the course of 100 games if the Rockies and Dodgers played each other? Probably not. But on any given night, that is what I love about the sport. You can have a guy get hot on the mound, at the plate, and it's the difference in the game. And even though one team is clearly better than the other, the inferior team wins. It's the beauty of the game. But you look at the Nationals, you would think the Rangers could win 2 out of 3 in Washington, D.C. You look at the Twins, formidable ball club, probably not a series I feel super confident. Like, yeah, they're winning it 2 out of 3 for sure. Is it a series that they absolutely could take 2 out of 3? Yes. I don't think the Twins are going to be overpowering to the Rangers. Really, no team overpowers the Rangers, if we're being honest. There's no team that has just mopped the Rangers up and down. Every single series that the Rangers have played, really almost every game, honestly, feels close. And I think we can all acknowledge that. And that's, I think, what makes this so frustrating, isn't it? Just the sheer amount of games that the Rangers have played where they're right there and they just can't figure it out. That's, I think, what kills me more than anything else, just being real with y'all. It's that they get your hopes up. They're in the game. They're in it. And then there's some kind of meltdown. There's some kind of mishap or error or a really bad inning, and it all goes to crap. And that's the story of the Rangers season in a nutshell. Really close ball games and basically a 50-50 split on getting it done or not getting it done. And obviously, you got to applaud the elite pitching. The Rangers have had crazy good pitching. The offense has been pretty terrible throughout. But I definitely feel like we're in every game. And so, honestly, there have been very few times where I will look at the game and feel like that game's not winnable. Like when Skubal was on the mound, I felt like this might be a game like we're not going to win when Tarek Skubal was pitching. Look, honestly, when Liberatore was on the mound, ironically, I mean, considering the result, I didn't feel great about Liberatore on Friday night when we played the Cardinals. So there have been very few games. Like, those are probably the only 2 games. I didn't feel that way, like with Hunter Brown on the mound, even though he's been really good. I think we had DeGrom throwing, and so I didn't feel like that game was unwinnable. There have been very few games, I can probably count them on one hand, where I have said to myself pregame, yeah, we're not winning tonight. I mean, probably 2 or 3 times at most. We keep going. Yeah, John, 7 times. It was embarrassing. It really was. And no, Seager not seeing the ball great. Maybe we're going to blame the elements. I'm not big on that. I will say, for a pitcher, just having played the game, having coached the game for many years, it is disruptive when you're getting the rain delay. Some guys handle it better than others. So, the rain delay, how much did it mess with Malley? Maybe it didn't at all. He really pitched pretty well. I would have loved to have seen him get an opportunity to work out of the bases loaded jam. Just give him one more batter, right? See if he can get a double play ball there. See if he can get a strikeout. I would have loved to have seen Malley pitch to Mangum there. I think that would have been ideal. And then you can bring in Latz against Meisner. Didn't make any sense to me. Oh, we keep going. A couple more weeks of struggling, and we'll be discussing sending Wyatt down. I feel like, I don't want to say it's not a possibility. But Wyatt is not going great right now. $175, he is not going great. And here's the thing that kind of sucks, right? I mean, we're talking about Wyatt. You guys, I know some of y'all heard Chris Young go on 105.3 The Fan and go a little scorched earth, honestly, on Adolis Garcia. Some of y'all were probably appreciating it. Like, it is nice and refreshing to have a front office that is just being real about performance. And CY basically said it's been bad. Dolly, 45 days of suck. I mean, that's not his exact quote. That would be pretty awesome if it was. But CY said it's been terrible. It's not been great. And right now we're going production based. We're not going pedigree. We're going production. So I don't really understand, if that's how you feel, then what do you do about Wyatt Langford? Because pedigree would say, play Wyatt Langford. He's got the pedigree. Just play him through it and we'll see what happens. But if CY is really making this big of a deal about performance and you're benching Adolis Garcia over it, I don't know how you don't look at Wyatt Langford, $175 over his last 30 games, and say, yeah, that performance isn't great. Now, I'm just trying to talk this through logically. Do I think they're going to send Wyatt Langford down in a week? No. 2 weeks? I mean, I guess. Look, Ultramodern, I guess if he goes $175 again for the next 2 weeks, maybe you do a little burger reset for him. But it's not going great right now. We got to be honest about it. You got to put the emotions aside with Wyatt Langford and how awesome he's been at times and how much we've really grown to love the hustle and the speed and the intangibles. But look, Jake Berger did wonders for him. So I don't think we need to be afraid of a Wyatt Langford send down. I think it's a little bit of a shock to the system. I think it might be good. Might be good for Wyatt to get down there and just have a little less pressure. I don't know. I think it's going to have to be a couple more weeks of bad, though, Ultramodern, before we get to that point. And that is what you said. The development, man, it does kill me. I do think, as I consider all my years as a Rangers fan, the development of top prospects feels off. And I think that might be putting it nicely. It feels off to me. You just have not seen the Rangers routinely develop pitching and hitting homegrown. It definitely is not something they've been able to do consistently. I mean, you look at a number of different examples. I think Leody Taveras is the prime example. Jurickson Profar is another example of guys that came up with a lot of hype and a lot of expectations, and they ended up being mediocre players. And I do think that it needs to be studied. Like, what is going wrong? Is it a weird, stupid curse on the organization? I don't know. I mean, clearly they've gone through different coaches and different scouts and different developmental guys, on the coaching side, but It's a little mind-boggling to me at times. It really is. Let me get back to TikTok here. I've neglected y'all for a while, and then YouTube, I'll get back to you guys, okay? How do we get better bats, and where do we put them in the lineup? Samuel, right now, you're not going to get better bats really anywhere except the minors. And I don't think there's really any way for the Rangers to improve right now except through the minor league system. And really the only options for me of guys that I would want to see called back up would be Dustin Harris, or you make a move to go get Marcus Smith on the 40-man. Marcus Smith is having a pretty solid year down at AAA. I'll look up the numbers for you right now. Those are about the only two guys I'm probably comfortable calling up and really expecting to make any kind of significant impact. I mean, there's other names we could throw out there, but look, largely untested. I think those two guys would be the guys that I would definitely want. I'm going to go to Round Rock's score right now. Looks like they're trailing 2-0. Let's see what Marcus Smith is doing tonight and where the OPS and the average are at this point. So looks like Smith is not playing today. Dustin Harris, he's not actually doing well at AAA. He's 0 for 3 tonight, 531 OPS. Yuck. Is Smith, let's see, did he get hurt or something? He's not even on the bench. Wonder what happened there. Interesting. I'll see if I can figure out what happened to Marcus Smith, man. That's weird. But look, the options are limited. You could maybe get a trade going in late June, early July. I don't think there's a ton of teams that are going to be giving you a very good deal at this point. You're going to be paying probably a bit of a premium. If you're trying to trade right now, the other teams around the league know you're desperate. I really don't want to get taken advantage of at this point. I really do think the Rangers have got to figure out a way to stay afloat for a few weeks. I think you could maybe swing a trade in late June, definitely in July. I don't think right now is the time to trade. You're just going to end up overpaying. And especially if you're getting like a half-season rental, I really don't want to overpay. Seriously. We keep going. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. Offense is sad right now, 100%. Go to someone like Webb or even Jackson. I think if Connor, if you're still hanging out, I believe they were looking for the lefty-lefty, right? They had Latz versus Meisner, and Meisner was the one that hit the phantom home run earlier in the game. I think that's what they were going for. All right, let me keep going. Yeah, look, the bullpen we're just being nitpicky about, because we're going to break down everything here on the show. Y'all know that. We're not going to spend an hour just ranting about the offense. We got to break down a little bit of everything. So I know y'all understand that. We definitely are not blaming the bullpen for tonight's loss. I think the management of the bullpen was interesting. I didn't love it. But no, we're not blaming. We're not blaming the loss at all on the bullpen. He got moved to Frisco. Really? Weird. 28 relics. You know anything else? Last time I checked, he had like over 1,000 OPS. You know anything else? 28 relics. Marcus Smith. One of my guys on YouTube is saying Marcus Smith got moved to AA. That makes zero sense to me. He was hitting over 1,000 in AAA. It's weird. Let me keep going. Don't understand. This team will score 8 and then look like a JV team. Hard Chuck. Well said. Unk, we are cooked. Marco, I don't want to believe it. This team makes me cry. Same. Do I think Boone has made any adjustments? I think he's probably told guys a few things here and there, but I do want to circle back to Boone really quick. Appreciate all y'all hanging out, by the way. Thank you for all the comments, the likes, the shares. It ain't easy to go live in games like this, but you know what? It's therapy for me. I've always said that. And I appreciate y'all hanging out. We're going to get through it. The sun comes up tomorrow. Another game of baseball will be played. It's rough, though. But y'all know. And look, when people come at me, because I do put out videos, the real ones know this, who have been following forever, I'll put out videos criticizing the club, and people will come after me for being a fair weather fan, for, just being negative all the time. I don't get it. It's clearly people just one-stop video. I got it. Same thing happens to me when I'm scrolling through social, but I mean, y'all know I'm here every day, rain or shine. and trying to find the positives, right? It's not like we're on here just negative all the time, 100%. I'm trying to find positives for y'all. So y'all got to back me up in the comments, man. Y'all got to back me up in the chat if anybody tries to come at me for being a fair weather fan. We are here every game. Unless I got something crazy going on with the family or out of town. Even when I'm out of town, y'all, I'm about to go out of town in about a week. Y'all are probably going to see me posting up in a hotel room after a game, doing a ride on Rangers Live. Like, we are the opposite of fair weather fan here. All right. Back to Boone, though. Back to Booney. I did say this when Boone got hired. First of all, I didn't love the firing of Donnie Ecker. I thought it was much more player personnel related than coaching. And I do think that that has been proven correct. I think that this is clearly the last, month since Boone got hired and Ecker was fired. It's probably been about a month. I think that I couldn't have been proven more right. The offense and the players on offense are the problem. I don't think it was really ever the coaching. The approaches don't feel like they've gotten a ton better. Maybe a little bit, maybe a guy here or there. What I did say, though, very clearly is above everything else, what I'm most interested in seeing with Brett Boone. How are the young guys going to develop under Brett Boone? I said I was going to look at Evan Carter, and I know he hasn't played much, so it's not very fair. Wyatt Langford. I was going to look at that time, Dustin Harris was up with the big league club and was having a little bit of success. I said, I'm going to look at Dustin Harris. Osuna wasn't up with the club yet. I'm going to look at Josh Young. I'm going to look at Josh Smith. I'm going to look at all these young guys that are still on their rookie contracts. And I want to see, how does Brett Boone do with the young guys? It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. All y'all know the saying. I really didn't expect Brett Boone to have a huge impact with the vets. I didn't think Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia, Corey Seager, even, maybe I would throw Jonah Heim in there too. I didn't think those types of guys were really going to be that affected by Brett Boone. I did think that the young guys would be a little bit more impressionable. And so I always said with the Boone hiring, I'm going to be looking at how the young guys perform. And honestly, I'm a little concerned. I think we've seen Wyatt Langford get worse since Brett Boone took over as the hitting coach. By no means am I saying fire Brett Boone or get rid of him, but I think you can make a pretty strong argument since Brett Boone took over, Wyatt Langford has regressed. And I don't know what they've been working on. Clearly, nobody's really going to get access to that, but I think it's concerning. It's definitely a situation where it's a small sample size, probably about 30 games. All is not lost, but if you're looking for me to give you a conclusion or an evaluation so far, I would say concerned. Not, lighting it all on fire. We're not the meme where we're in the kitchen sipping coffee with the house burning down. Like, it's not at that level. You know what I mean? It's not there yet. But if you're asking me, what do I think of Brett Boone? I'm thinking the young guys look like they're struggling a little bit. Hey, look, I don't think Brett Boone has really gotten his mitts on Osuna at this point. So I'm not really going to give Brett Boone a whole lot of credit for Osuna's start. But I think you look at the young guys, it feels like they've stayed about the same. And in the case of Wyatt Langford, probably gotten a little bit worse since he took over. That does concern me. Yes, Kyle, 100%. 100% there's time. Yeah, we're not saying the house is burning down, but I'm just, responding to the question. You want me to evaluate? I'm telling you where I'm at right now with the Brett Boone. Higher. I'm a little concerned. Not a lot concerned, but I'm a little concerned. Evan Carter is never going to get better against lefties if we don't let him face him in games. Bro, I talked about this at the beginning of the show. You've got to stop platooning your top lefty prospects. I would get it if we had this crazy, amazing bat off the bench that can mash against lefties. We don't have that. I'm sorry, Sam Haggerty. I know a lot of y'all are high on Sam Haggerty. I like him too. Sam Haggerty is not that big of an upgrade over Evan Carter in any situation. He's not. Sam Haggerty is 31 years old, turning 32 soon. Evan Carter's 22. I want to see Evan Carter develop. Evan Carter has been given 45 plate appearances in his major league career against lefties. 45. Let's do the math on that. 13, 14 games. Evan Carter has been given 13 or 14 games in the major leagues facing left-handed pitching. Do any of us believe that that is a big enough sample size to determine whether or not he should be a platoon player or an everyday player? I would have, like I said, I would have loved for them to ask CY, to ask Chris Young yesterday, 105.3 The Fan interview. What is the plan? What do you need to see? What is that magic key that you're looking for where you're going to finally decide we're going to give Evan Carter an extended runway hitting lefties? We're going to give Alejandro Osuna a runway hitting lefties and see if these guys can be everyday players. I just don't get it. How would you want, and how is it best practice to come up and bring these guys up to the league, come up with this idea that we're going to chase matchups over development from the jump? I've gone off on this and I've done multiple reels on this, so I know I'm going to sound like a broken record. I guarantee I'm going to do another one before the season's over because I just don't get it. I don't understand it. These are top prospects. Osuna is number 7 in your organization. Carter was number 1. And pretty much from the get-go, you platoon them. It makes 0 sense to me. Not even little to 0. 0 sense to me. Keep going. Bullpen needs strength. McKinnon 100%, but it wasn't the problem today. I'm with you. Look, anybody that wants to go back to 23, look, I'll watch 23 highlights all day long. You wanna crack a few cold ones and watch 2023 highlights? I'm there. I gotta say, I can't just throw it in and just say to myself, at least we got 23. I'm not going to get fired up about anything because we got 23. It's just not my personality. It's not who I am as a fan. Am I always going to appreciate 23 and never take it for granted? 1,000,000%. I will never take 2023 for granted. And so I don't want you to take my criticism of the club as me taking 23 for granted. I watch 23 highlights after most losses. True confession here. Like after the live tonight, I'll probably be laying in bed. It'll be late night and I'll probably watch 23 highlights just to make myself feel better before I go to bed. True confession, baby. I don't even care. Like that. I don't take it for granted that we won in 23, but I can't sit around as a diehard fan and be okay with mediocrity, or in this case, below the level of mediocrity, and just say to myself, well, yeah, at least we won a championship. I'm just not there yet. Maybe I'll change it at some point, but I want to win every game. And we've got, I think, a front office that feels the same way. It hasn't worked out on the field yet, unfortunately. Keep going. Rocker pitching tomorrow, Rico, if you're still hanging out. Can we just move Wyatt to 5-hole? I think that would be the preference for me. Move Wyatt down. Like I don't think the 2-hole is working out great for him. Clearly, he's hitting $175 over his last 30. Should we trade to get Duran? That would be awesome. I love Jarren Duran, Red Sox outfielder. I think he's great. If you can figure out a way. It feels like, and this is just my GM mind, and I'm not a GM. So look, take it with a grain of salt. I don't think that you're going to be trading a bat for a bat. I think it's probably going to be a pitcher and prospects if you're going to get a guy like Duran. So it's going to be Malley and prospects, for example, if you want to get Duran. And you're probably going to have to throw in some good prospects if you want to get Duran. I don't think you're trading like Adolis with prospects to get Duran. Maybe, but I don't see that happening. I think you're probably trading like a Tyler Malley, and then some of your better, maybe hitting prospects, maybe one guy in the top 10, something like that. I don't know. And then maybe another guy in the top 25. I would see maybe a 3-player deal for Duran, something like that. I'm not saying pull the trigger on it, but I think that's what it would probably take. McKinnon, I think they're going to go to the bitter end up to the All-Star break. Somebody asked how long are they going to drag this out before they decide to sell? I don't see them selling until the bitter end. Like when there is zero hope left. I just think CY is that competitive. And when you've got this good of pitching, I just don't think CY is going to throw in the towel easily. Bob, I'm with you. The losses get old, 100%. B Daddy, I'm with you. Look, I'm not dissing on Siegs. Corey Seager's my favorite player. Y'all watch, those of y'all that tune in at the beginning of the show, TikTok. I know you guys don't get to see my intro, but YouTube, X, all y'all, you get to see my Corey Seager intro. I picked that for a reason. Corey Seager is one of my favorite players. I told you, my worry meter on Seager is probably about a 2 right now. It sucks that he's not going great. We could use his bat, especially in a game where you only score 1 run, but Corey Seager is going to be fine. I'm not worried about him at all. Keep going. Oh, yeah. Sam Huff, Tejeda. There are a number of guys. Connor, you must be referring to when we were talking about development. Absolutely. Keep going. I'm trying to sift past some of the trolling. So forgive me. Rangers in a good spot. Just need to go on a 10-game win streak. Easier said than done, though. Am I right? Yeah, Chase, I don't like the lefties getting taken out either. Garrett, thanks for the follow if you're still hanging out. Does the L really count in a minor league stadium? Sean, that's a gold comment of the night, man. If you're still hanging out, man, appreciate you. Yup. Likelihood that Adolis gets traded, high. If I had to say a number 1 to 10, high likelihood 10, low likelihood 1, I'd probably say a 7 or an 8. I think it's probably 7 or 8 Adolis gets traded. Yeah, look, Hard Chuck, I'm with you. Like, people are a little bit too reactive. Like, there's going to be people today after the hit by Adolis, like, put him in. Like, he's fixed. Adolis, he's going to light it up now. Just chill out, bro. All right. Hard Chuck, I'm totally with you. Like, just chill out. It's one hit. It doesn't replace 1 month of terrible. In this case, a month and a half, really, for Adolis Garcia. So I think let's keep Dolly in the same spot. He does not need to become an everyday player. Osuna, Carter, Wyatt Langford, please continue with that. And Adolis can platoon. Cody Freeman just hit a 2-run homer in AAA. Nice. Maybe Cody Freeman's a guy. I know Cody has had a halfway decent year. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but let me check this out. 309, 822 OPS. It's a pretty good year. It's a pretty good year. Cody Freeman, we're talking about Round Rock Express third baseman. Maybe he's a guy. Maybe he's a guy. Keep going. Boone seems like he's just there so we won't get fined type 5. There was a shot, I forget when it was, maybe about a week ago, and Brett Boone just looked depressed, bro. Like over on, it was like a dugout shot. He's leaning against the dugout. It was one of the games where we had scored like 0 runs, and Boone just looked depressed, man. We were watching him get fired up like the first few games, and I still think he has that in him, like no doubt. But yeah, the hitting coaches, I can't imagine, are having a lot of fun right now. Keep going. Why appreciate the follow if you're still hanging out. Bochy is the issue. He might be when it comes to the lefty matchups. I know Bochy is a guy that loves playing matchups. I think he's overthinking it a little bit, and I think that he is costing some of our lefty top prospects a bit of development time right now. I'll be curious. Like, you know, I do think unless the Rangers have a deep playoff run, I think Bochy probably rides off into the sunset after this year. If they go deep playoff run, maybe he goes year to year. I really can't see him doing like another 3-year deal. But let's say a Skip Schumacher takes over, and Skip is in the organization right now, and I think he's basically manager in waiting. I wonder how Skip would handle Evan Carter and Alejandro Osuna and all these young guys. That is, I think, when you'll really see, is it Bochy or is it Chris Young in the front office? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we won't, but that's just my guess. Keep going. Yeah, look, Duran is a nice player. I don't think he solves all the problems. I think, and I've been saying, we're actually a couple bats away. I don't think we're 1 bat away. I think we're probably about 2 bats away. I would love for Jock Peterson to be one of those bats. Like his extended absence, he comes back and actually is the player that we paid $18 million for, $19 million for. I would love for that to happen. So if he can come back, I'm going to be thinking about it this way with Jock. Totally erase what he did up to this point. If you can get Jock Peterson back at the end of the month or at the beginning of July, and he can be the same hitter that he was last year, that's basically like getting a bat at the trade deadline. I think they're probably going to think about it that way too, if I had to guess. But then I do think you go out and acquire somebody else. Maybe you get one of these call-ups up to the big leagues and they make a difference. You're going to have to get a little lucky. You are. Somebody's going to have to hit from the minor leagues. Somebody's going to have to turn it around that's in the lineup right now and in a big way. I don't think you're necessarily going to get like two big bats in the trade market. I think you might get one big bat. I don't think you're probably getting two. Somebody's going to have to turn it around big time, or one of the minor league guys is going to have to go on a tear. Keep going. Look, I don't mind the Rangers working pitches, but I think last year, Evan Carter kind of fell into this. There was this big heap of praise on Evan Carter. 3-2 Carter, right? 3-2 Carter. And I think that's awesome. Like, working the count is huge when you're a hitter like Carter, contact hitter, speed. It's big, especially when you're hitting at the top of the lineup like Evan Carter was in 2023. But I think it can get in your head. And then you're not aggressive up at the plate on pitches that you should be hitting, and you should be mashing at that. Pitches right down the middle, pitches that are hung. You're trying to go up there and work the count and only hit your pitch. I think that it takes away the aggressiveness a little bit. And so I do think there are some hitters that are running into that a bit. Trading Duran is more of a win now mode. For sure it is. But aren't you? I mean, I don't know if you're saying this or not, but the Rangers are in win now mode. You've got Jacob deGrom and Nate Eovaldi on the back nine, still pitching elite with 2 or 3 years left on their deal. This is your window right now. Win now. So that's why I don't want to see them punt the season. I don't want to see them punt the season at all. Maybe, Ryan, Dustin Harris is not playing great right now in Round Rock. He's only hitting, looks like 202. But Dustin Harris, I think he hasn't really gotten a shot either. I mean, he's only gotten maybe 1 week of getting to play every day. BK, enjoy the win if you're still hanging. Chase, it feels like that. It feels like guys like Corey Seager are always going to be swinging first pitch. Seager is a great first pitch hitter, by the way. But it does feel like a lot of our other guys, we're taking a lot. But it's kind of a, I don't want to cuss. I want to keep things PG. But it's like you're screwed if you do and you're screwed if you don't, right? So it's like we were complaining about the Rangers and their approach, like being too aggressive, swinging at crap. And now we're kind of going the other way, right? We're upset that they're not swinging. So it's like it's kind of a tough situation, right? I feel like we kind of got to make up our minds a little bit. Do we want them to be patient, or do we want them to be free swinging up there? I feel like free swinging is kind of what got us into this problem at the beginning of the season. And I feel like you got to have a balance, basically. You've got to be up there knowing and having a good command of the strike zone, and you've got to be selective. You've got to swing at pitches that you're actually able to hit. It's got to be a balance. I mean, it's all easier said than done, of course. $18 million was a lot of money for Jock Peterson for a guy that doesn't play every day. But if Jock can come back after the injury and hit like he did last year, it's going to make a big difference. Keep going. Opinion on Semien? Like what I'm seeing from Semien. I was expecting him to get moved up. I did not think he was going to stay in the 8-hole, hitting as well as he did. I knew Bruce Bochy was not going to be able to resist that. And look, I'm glad we didn't bump him up to like second today. But we move him up in the order, and he goes 0 for 2 with the walk. Not terrible, but not great. Keep going. We need to sweep y'all since y'all swept us. Hope not. Hope not. I do wish Wyatt was more confident. It looks like he is losing some confidence right now. So I don't know what the fix is. I think first fix is going to be moving him down in the order. Second fix, it seems crazy, but I do think they will probably consider a minor league move. If that happens, Adolis is almost certainly back. Like, Adolis is almost certainly getting his job back, unless you're going Haggerty and you're still doing the platoon thing with Adolis. Shane, you might be right. Maybe we are doing that again. No, I don't think Walcott's going to come up this year, Zane. I think Walcott probably next year, but I don't think this year for Walcott. Don't think so. Josh Young, let's see. Josh Young's been cold recently. Has he? Last 7 games, yeah. Last 7 games. Ooh, this is kind of ugly for Josh Young. 172 average, 344 OPS. Yuck. And 11 strikeouts. That's nasty. Oh, 11 Ks in 7 games for Josh Young. Last 15 is a little better. Last 30 is pretty solid. But yeah, the last 15 games, Josh Young has a 527 OPS, 19 strikeouts in his last 15 games. Not great. Not great. But I think you could do this with a lot of Rangers. I'm sure a lot of Rangers are probably hitting under 225 right now. D-backs need another starting pitcher. They also have bats. Same with Dodgers. There are some trade partners. Hardchuck, you and I have been talking about this. There are some trade partners. I do think the Rangers make some trades. I do think there's some soft selling that goes on. I think Malley is going to be a guy Chris Young listens to phone calls about. Why wouldn't you? 28 relics, 100%. Patiently free swinging. That's basically what Rangers fans want from this team. Be a patient free swinger. There's a good oxymoron for you, man. 28 relics, that's great. It's another gold comment of the night, man. Yeah, that is what it is. We don't want them to be too free swinging, but stop being so patient. And look, I'm not singling out the comment that was made on the live earlier because I go back and forth on it too. What are we doing? Swinging at everything. And then, look, why aren't we being more patient? Like, I do the same thing. So I'm not getting on anybody when I say that. Have I looked at what's on the trading block? 28 relics? Not really, because it changes. It just changes. Like, St. Louis goes on a heater, and now are the St. Louis guys really available? Is Brendan Donovan, Arenado, Helsley, are those guys really available? Because St. Louis is close to a playoff spot. So those are the things that I just have trouble mapping out right now. I'd love to be able to give y'all a list. And you guys know I'm pretty well informed, but it's just so hard to tell. There's still the guys that have always said, like, but it depends. Like, are the Braves going to take a dump? And Ozuna's available. Are the Blue Jays going to take a dump? And now you've got Bichette available. I know some of y'all don't love the Bichette deal. After watching Bichette hit that 2-run bomb to win the game the other day, I'm thinking I'd like to have a guy like Bo Bichette on the roster. Hey, speaking of, Rogan, what's good, man? Blue Jays fan. How are you, man? We're just talking about Bo Bichette, what the Blue Jays are going to do. Look, I don't love to prey on other teams' downfalls, but that's kind of what you have to do around the trade deadline if you actually want to be able to go out and get impact bats. Whoever you like, pray for them to not do very well. Good, buddy. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. And by the way, anybody hanging right now, if you haven't hit that follow or subscribe button, this is what we do almost every night. Just hang out, talk ball. Everybody's welcome. Look, I know we had some Astros trolls in the TikTok chat, whatever. Sometimes I feel like going back and forth. Sometimes, not a good use of my time. I'll let y'all clean up the mess over there. Chat, you got them. So, look, everybody's welcome. Hit that follow or subscribe button. Come hang out. It's fun. It's more fun when the Rangers win, obviously. But we're here every night. No fair weather fan. Not in our nature. Rain or shine, we're here. We're talking ball, talking Rangers baseball. Love having you guys. Dre, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you. Shane, thanks for liking the live. Hardchuck, I love Bichette. I don't know. There was a few people that really pushed back about a month ago when I suggested going to get Bo Bichette. I suggested Arenado. Helsley, obviously, if you can get him as a closer, that'd be awesome. Like, can you imagine we go get either a combination of Arenado Helsley or Donovan Helsley? I would love if we did a blockbuster trade with the Cardinals and got a hitter and the closer. So, look, Cardinals have a little soft spot in my heart. I was born in St. Louis, lived there for several years before I moved to Texas, but I'd like to see the Cardinals take a bit of a dump so some of their players are on the market for Texas. Just being real. Just being real. So, look, Bo Bichette, Arenado, Donovan, both of those guys, last two guys, Cardinals, Ozuna, those are probably my four hitters that I would love to bring over, if at all possible. Don't know if it's going to happen, but I'd love it. Bats are definitely more urgent than a closer. If you can, like I said, get a package deal, and even if you don't go get a bona fide closer like Helsley, if you can even get a guy that's just having a good year in the bullpen, it doesn't have to be a closer. I'd prefer to have like a 7 or 8 inning guy, like maybe an 8th inning guy who's been set up. If you're going to go out and get a guy that's not a big name closer, that's just me. Duran is definitely on the block. I'm with you there. Bichette definitely would be the leadoff ideally. Keep going through. Appreciate all the comments, y'all. You guys are great. Thank you so much. We'll keep hanging out. I'm going to go through tomorrow's game. I don't think we're going to have a lot of the numbers only because we don't have a announced starter. Rocker, I think, did get announced, but I don't know if MLB's updated it yet. Yeah, still not updated. We're going against Boz. What a stash this dude has. Like the most like albino blonde stash. Ray's probable starter for tomorrow. All right, Baz against the Rangers. Garcia 0 for 3, Heim 1 for 3, Langford 0 for 3, Seager 1 for 2, Simeon 1 for 5. And I don't think that Rocker has faced the Rays. So there's that. Appreciate all y'all hanging out. We are going to take a look at the standings and the AL West roundup to end the show. But first of all, I want to say a special thank you to everybody that is a paid subscriber in TikTok that's hanging out tonight. Saw a bunch of y'all commenting. Thank you so much. All my paid members on YouTube, thank you to all y'all as well. I really appreciate the support. Look, just being a fan of the show, following, liking, sharing the video with somebody else, commenting, all those things are huge. And I don't take those things for granted at all. In fact, they mean the world to me. And just real recently, actually, I started up a little subscription. It's $2.99 a month. Just as a way, if you feel led to give back and support me and what I'm doing here at the show, maybe you've been watching for a little while and you really like what we're doing here and you thought to yourself, man, I'd love to give back. I would love to support this guy in a little way, a small way. $2.99 subscription, $2.99 a month. Here's what it gets you. First of all, as the show gets bigger and we're gaining about 1,000 followers a month at this rate, probably a little bit more than that across all socials. As the show gets bigger, we want to prioritize our paid members and subscribers in the comments. I'm still going to try and get to as many as I possibly can. But inevitably, as the show gets bigger, it might get a little bit harder. So priority replies in both lives and in the videos we do. And I've also created a exclusive Right on Rangers Discord chat. And that's been awesome over the last couple of weeks. I have loved the community that we built. And so there are the perks right there. Hit that subscribe button, by the way. That's how you do it, right next to the chat if you're interested. And on YouTube, I got to get you guys the link in the chat. Again, consider it. Think about it. Again, small way that you can support me and what I do here at Right on Rangers. If it's not for you, still love you. Still love all the support that you've been giving me and the channel in other ways. But here is the link in YouTube so you guys have it. And again, if you're on TikTok, you just hit that subscribe button right next to the chat box, to the text box. Thank you for considering. Appreciate all the support of me and Ride on Rangers Live. It's been quite a ride. 2023 is when we started this up. Here we are a couple of years later. It's been awesome, and you guys are a big part of that. So thank you. I have seen a little bit of DeGrom trade rumors, but nothing crazy. Like Jamie Newberg, some of you guys know Jamie. I follow Jamie. I subscribe to him and follow him on Substack. He puts out a lot of good stuff, a lot of good Rangers stuff. I would highly recommend Jamie Newberg. Really, really solid quality content. He was throwing out DeGrom as kind of just like going through all the scenarios, not like as a super, super serious endeavor. And by the way, Jamie was against trading DeGrom ultimately, and I am too. But he did throw out, you could probably get a pretty nice haul for Jacob DeGrom at this point. Definitely. Absolutely. By the way, there's other scenarios too that he went through, but I do think that they're going to hold on to Evo, to DeGrom, and to basically all of the young core. That's my thought. Appreciate the sub, by the way, Rogan edits. Bo Bichette's a shortstop / second baseman, I think, for the Blue Jays. Look him up. I gave you the name and the spelling there, though, buddy. Carter was taken out of the game because a lefty was in, Justin. There was really no other reason. It was just there was a lefty matchup, and Carter was hitting 8th, so it was like the 5th inning by the time his second at bat came up again, and they decided to go with Dolly off the bench. Or was it Haggerty? Sorry, my bad. Haggerty off the bench. Dolly replaced Osuna later in the ballgame. 44, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. Tough night to be a Rangers fan, but we're here. We're about to get off, though. We've been going for an hour and 20. Yeah, Carter's fine. Just lefty situation. Hey, 44, you got anything from today's game? You got any comments? You got any observations? Clearly, we know the game sucked by and large. 6th inning was terrible, but let me know if you had a takeaway from today. Appreciate the follow, by the way. Carter is absolutely greater than Haggerty. You're not losing that much going from Carter to Haggerty, even if it is lefty on lefty, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, you might as well just hit Carter. I mean, there might be an argument, somebody else maybe, but no. Back down to 27th ranked in MLB. Yikes. Chicago scored 8 runs, so they bumped ahead of us. Oh, that's gross. Gross. Been a Rangers fan for years, probably, 25 years. Since about the turn of the century. About 25 years as a fan. I don't know why Bochy does it either, Justin. I really don't. It's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. All right, y'all. So tomorrow, looks like we are going at the same time. But I said we were going to do a little AOS roundup. So let me do a little roundup with you. First of all, Astros did win. Unfortunate. They are on a little bit of a roll. I think they've won like 7 of 11 or something like that. It's a pretty good little stretch. McCullers pitched great again. They beat Paul Skeens. Astros beat Paul Skeens tonight. So they're going well right now. This is kind of what they do. They had a little bit of a bad start last year, remember? Like quite a bit of a bad start. And then they caught fire in the second third of the season. And maybe they're doing that again, unfortunately. Hader gets his 16th save, 3-0 win over the Pirates. And then we go to the A's. They are winning 2-1 against the Twins, playing in Sacramento. Angels beat the Red Sox 4-3. Mariners are losing to the Orioles 3-1. That would be nice if we could get the Mariners losing. I think the Astros would be in sole command of first place with the Mariners loss, unfortunately. Pirates beat Skeens, not the Astros. Oh, that's one way to think about it. That is one way to think about it. Do I have my eye on anyone's top prospect? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I was actually looking at this the other day. So the Chicago Cubs, they have a prospect that I've been interested in for quite a little while, and that is Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw. I don't know how many of y'all have heard of Matt Shaw before, but Matt Shaw, he's been up with the big league club. He's made his debut. He struggled a little bit in his first, I think, 100 or so at bats. They sent him down. They brought him back up. I think that Matt Shaw would be a guy that I would love to get. He is a third baseman. This is where it gets a little controversial. If you got Matt Shaw, you would probably have to do something with Josh Young. I don't know how many of us are really attached to Josh Young, but I just really like Matt Shaw's game. I think coming up in the Cubs system, phenomenal. I think he's a great player. I think he had a little bit of a tough go in his first 100 ABs. 661 OPS, really not bad. 238 average. He'd fit right in Texas. But he has been called back up. He's playing right now for the Cubs. I don't know if they'd be willing to part with him. We probably have some interesting pieces that the Cubs would like. I'll see what happens, but he is a guy I like. There you go. Shaw, though, I really do like Matt Shaw's game. I mean, I'll try and go to the minor league stats for you, just so you can kind of get an idea of what he did in the minors. So look, minors career, 915 OPS. 915 OPS in the minors. He had in his first year in the minors, he had a 1018 OPS. Look, last year, and for AAA Iowa, he has a 969 OPS. That's why they called him up. I think this guy is going to be a really good player. I think you got to do something with Josh Young. If you get Matt Shaw, or maybe, like you said, you move him to shortstop, but I do really like Matt Shaw. I've had my eye on him for a couple of years now. All right, y'all. I think it's about time for us to take off. I appreciate all of y'all hanging out. Ethan, I don't think he is. I think he's going to be a starter. If they're not going to use him in the rotation, I do think they probably are going to have him pitch in AAA instead of going to the bullpen. I don't think that Josh Young is unmovable either, Hardchuck. I know a lot of people really love Josh Young in his game, and I love Josh Young too. But I think if you could upgrade, and maybe if you could possibly get another couple of pieces as well, I don't think it's like Matt Shaw would be the only guy you're getting in a trade. Maybe, I don't know. But I think that you got to be open to some different things right now if you're Chris Young. I really do. Appreciate all y'all. Again, thank you to all the paid subscribers, members, YouTube, TikTok. Hit that subscribe button if you want to support me in the show. $2.99 a month. It'll get you access to our private, exclusive Right on Rangers Discord chat. It's been awesome so far, along with priority replies to comments in lives and in the videos that we post. Just a small way you can give back to me and what I'm doing here at Right on Rangers. If it's not for you, I really want to say thank you to the support, the watch time, the follows, the likes, the comments. It's all great. I don't take any support for granted. So thank you for considering it. Again, hit that subscribe button right next to the chat. If you're on YouTube, I'll drop the link in one more time before I take off. But it's been a great show. I wish it could be a better show under better circumstances, but you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Kyle, appreciate the compliment, man. By the way, here's the link for YouTube for becoming a member. If you would be so interested and obliged to do so, copy and paste that into a browser of your choice, and we'll get you in. All right, y'all. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday night. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, the live will probably be around the same time, like 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, something like that. We'll be back, hopefully talking about a Rangers win. That's the plan, and we're sticking to it. Win some, lose some. Exactly. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Have a good Wednesday tomorrow. As I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.